live-action Clone Wars? Ever since the release of Ahsoka, everyone has been wondering if this is a good idea and if it will happen. Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. The Anakin parts of Ahsoka were quite enjoyable. It was that taste of nostalgia that you always love to see in live-action Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I think they did it really well. I think they did a really good job of that.
Yeah. Man, it was so tasteful.
Yeah. It wasn't like smack you over the head with a nostalgia. Remember this?
Yeah. It really felt good, especially with the not-so-nice version that we got from Obi Wan.
Yeah, we don't talk about
we
that.
don't talk about that here.
They did him dirty in that,
yeah,
that
they
episode.
Did. And I think they learned their lesson.
The whole
I think
series.
they saw that and were like, yeah, we're not playing that game. No, it was really, really well done. And I really enjoyed that they played more with the character of him as Ahsoka knew him / comes to understand him.
Yeah,
and
it was played from Ahsoka's perspective, not from what we know of as a third party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah, and I think they did a really good job, too, of portraying Ahsoka as that age. Because you watch the Clone Wars, you're like, Ahsoka's young, but like, how young? And then you see a very age-appropriate actor playing this role, and you see, like, good gravy. The efforts, the experiences make a lot more sense, and they give a lot more perspective in how the Star Wars galaxy works. And it's crazy, the whole idea that she was trained as a warrior this young in this galaxy with this war going on.
Yeah. It was honestly shocking seeing her in live action as the young Padawan that she was. It's like, you're putting a child in a war zone. Like, are we sure about this, guys? Like, I'm suddenly very uncomfortable with this. Like, it was amazing how shocking that was. Because they just did it so well. They did that really, really well. I also appreciate that they used the same actress.
Yes.
As the young and then the middle. Like, I don't know. For some reason, like, at first I was like, oh, okay, so this is her young. Okay, And then then they got her a little bit older. I was like, oh, okay. No, I'm jiving with this.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of showcasing that time jump, as well as the whole experience around Anakin having to train this very young Padawan in this role, understanding what his unique training was, as well as the situations that they're going to be in. She literally goes up to a wounded clone trooper who is struggling and trying not to die right there. So there's a lot of these different pieces that I feel like are so powerful, but it does lean the question of like, what would a live action version of this look like? This would actually be pretty sweet. Could we possibly see more flashbacks in these time periods of these bigger moments in Ahsoka as a series? I would love to see it. Or what would it look like to have like a limited series, 6-episode series of like taking maybe something that was a lost Clone Wars episode that was converted into a book, or just an old script or something like that that could be converted with these actors as we see them and know them. What would that look like?
That's an interesting thought. I think the only thing I have against it is just asking the question, is it necessary?
Yeah.
Like, does that
Clone
really
Wars is
need to
there.
happen? Yeah, like we have Clone Wars and it's been done and it was really well done in its medium.
Yeah. And I don't think the fact that it is animation takes away from the story that they were telling.
No, it makes it more fun. It makes it more playful. Like there was just, I guess there's something nostalgic for me about it because it's a totally different vibe.
Well, you're able to suspend your disbelief way easier in animation than you would be. I mean, just talking about the age of Ahsoka in these situations, like that's insane. And I feel like you would just be thinking about that the whole time you watch that show. There would be no perspective of like, yeah, this totally makes a ton of sense, right? It makes tons of sense that this little alien child is going to be in this war, right? Yeah. So insane.
I think that brings up a good point, though, is that if it was live action, we're dealing with something a lot more real, and we're dealing
Heavier,
with we're dealing with much more serious consequences and storylines, and like it would have to be like you can't just
way more realistic.
this is just a fun jaunt through Star Wars. No, like this is.
I mean, just her taking the clone troopers. Obviously, the clone troopers are like a month old, 2 months old, who knows? But like they're grown adults technically, and they're getting orders from a child in war against robots in this galaxy.
Imagine what that does to your brain. Like as the child leading these troopers, these grown men,
going against Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
That this could honestly be tied into maybe some flashbacks in like a Darth Maul series or something like that, or maybe because the time frame would line up, they could have a younger Ahsoka interact with Darth Maul, like in that one period between, was it the Crimson Dawn, I believe, and Solo, like that time period could line up so it doesn't take away from what Clone Wars is as a show and gives them a little bit more freedom to have these same characters in these same roles, but push forward a little bit.
So do you think it's necessary?
Do I think it's necessary? No, not at all.
Yeah.
Would I like to see it? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool. But again, I don't want it to be done just because animation's not real.
Right.
Just to satiate the fans that are like, I don't want to watch the Clone Wars. It's a kid show. Clone Wars is awesome. It deserves a watch if you have not watched it. It's great. But I still think it would be awesome to see these characters come on screen again. I think just seeing Hayden Christensen in Ahsoka shows that he loves the character. He gave the character all he had, was able to give a great performance and take inspiration of his characters in the prequels and the character in the animated series. And he thanked the Clone Wars for its revitalization of Anakin as a character and the prequels.
Truly. Anakin was pretty flat until Clone Wars came around.
Gave him so much life to that character.
Yeah, you actually liked him. He wasn't just a pretty face, you know? Like it was like, oh no, you're smart. Like you can do things. Good job.
Yeah, look at you go. It makes sense. Obi Wan was doing his training.
Yeah. I could see it working if it was, like you were saying, like a strand to dig deeper into a Darth Maul story.
Because I would love to see more Ahsoka Darth Maul stories.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Don't we all? Yeah.
And just more of Darth Maul. Fan favorite character Darth Maul, as well as fan favorite character Anakin, Ahsoka. These characters I think would be awesome to see. Yeah, there's so much there that could be told. There's so many different stories. I don't think they should go and remaster the Clone Wars episodes in live action. That doesn't need to be happening. But I feel like taking these moments that you may recognize or may have had reference to, or completely new stories like around Darth Maul, I think something like that could be really powerful in telling and broadening and diving deeper into the Star Wars galaxy.
I really appreciate what they've been doing in these series and these shows, just because it calls back all the memories and things, but it makes it really nice. Like it makes it so much more like, oh yeah, remember those good times. Like so if we see them just remaster it, it would lose all of its flavor, you know? Like it wouldn't be the same. Yeah. So I really appreciate the little snippets that we're getting to call back.
Exactly.
But I don't need to have a whole show redone.
I want tastes. I don't want the whole cake. Yeah. But let us know your thoughts on this idea. Would you like to see live action Clone Wars again? As always, check out our podcast and may the Force be with you.